Hi everyone, thanks very much Blair for that very kind introduction. I'm really proud to be asked to speak here today, and I'd like to thank the organisers of the event for inviting me. I'm sure most people in the room recognise the other people on the platform tonight, so I kind of wanted to start by just kind of explaining how I came to be here. As Blair said, I spoke recently at the Radical Independence Conference, and I hope the one that was there and is here today is bored of hearing me speak about independence. Firstly, I live and work in Glasgow, and I've said it so many times that I'm really proud to be part of a city with such a strong and brilliant tradition. A city whose history is red from the Clydeside, who has a statue just over there of the pasionara as a memorial to those who fought against fascism. Most of my family's actually from Lanarkshire, and I remember one of my first and clearest memories of being a kid in Glasgow was clinging on to my mum's hand as we watched Glasgow give Nelson Mandela the keys to the city in George Square. These are the same streets that when I was a teenager I sat on to protest the illegal war in Iraq. These are the same streets that I've marched on with thousands of other people, and I'm sure there's so many of them here, against austerity in the last few years. I think these are the kind of experiences in Glasgow that we all share. It's almost like a kind of a people's history. And now we're demanding a real change. The lack of democracy, of control of our own resources, the domination of neoliberal policy has left scars of poverty and deprivation across our city. It got me thinking about these words in particular. Do we ordinary people still feel the sting of blind economic forces beyond our control? Do despair and hopelessness still exist as we have no control over our own destiny? These are the words of Jimmy Reid, spoken 40 years ago in this city, and they still resonate today. Lies at the core of independence. Alienation still pervades in our society. Independence for Scotland, as I see it, it's a revolt against alienation. Amen. I'm also here as a trade unionist. Now, I work in a low-paid, semi-skilled job, which I've just come from tonight. That wasn't a career choice for me, and I know I'm one of the lucky ones to actually have a job. People from my generation, we were told, if you buckle down, you stay in at school, you get your exams, go to college, go to uni, you can do whatever you want, the world will be yours. Very quickly we've come to realise that that's not true, and people are angry. We saw our anger reflected in the student protests that happened in 2010. The same fury of a generation who were promised anything only to find that they were getting scraps from the table. Scraps from the table are for rats. We're not rats, we're human beings. This kind of ties into another vivid childhood memory. I was 11 years old in 1997, and I have this really clear memory of my dad this time watching Tony Blair race to victory in that year's election. My parents woke me up that morning full of hope, jubilation, expectation. But as Blair's new Labour started to settle into Westminster, that government came to signify something entirely different for a whole generation of young people. We didn't see social democracy or justice. We saw the skies of Baghdad light up orange from bombs. We saw young men and women sent off to an illegal war. We'd seen enough. An independent Scotland has the chance to shape the entire world stage, so that as a nation we stand on the side of the oppressed and not on the side of the oppressor, a nation for peace and not for war. People from my generation have been called so many things, materialistic, hedonistic, obsessed with reality telly, maybe even a lost generation. But do you know what? That's just not true, and I'm so fed up with hearing it. It's just that we've been without a voice for so long. Statistics now show that young people and low-paid workers are more likely to be convinced of independence than any other group, because we have everything to vote for. We have hope at last. And today there are actually more call centre workers in Glasgow than there ever were shipyard workers, still low-paid workers who had no voice, who now have hope. The kind of society that I've spoken about is what I want as a young trade unionist, and I understand the powers that independence brings gives us that opportunity for that kind of society, and that's why I'm voting yes. I just don't believe that austerity at home and war abroad is the best that we can expect. I want a Scotland for the millions and not for the millionaires. What I want to appeal to every single person in this room. We all need to think, what type of society do we want? What type of Scotland do we want to live in? And I can honestly say the only way any of our hopes will be realised is through the independence of Scotland from the United Kingdom. We have everything to vote for, a different economy, a different society, a different world. Another Scotland is possible, and reflecting that people's history, our shared experiences and our shared memories, a Scotland that puts people first. In 2014, we can make it a reality. From the history of John McLean at the Red Clydeside, to communities that battled against the poll tax, to those that demonstrated against illegal war, at the heart of all these things was this city. Now Glasgow can be at the heart of a campaign for change, at the heart of a campaign against alienation, and at the heart of the campaign for a yes vote. Let's go from here tonight, let's go out and build the broadest campaign for independence. Thank you.